With the upcoming Bristol Dirt weekend, many NASCAR fans are headed over to Bristol, Tennessee, or excited to watch on TV, but others are kind of on the other side of the fence, and many are on the fence still. And with some of the more recent quotes we've heard from Marcus Smith, well, it's really leaving the future in question for the Bristol Dirt race. So today, I want to look at both why they should or should not come back, and then maybe offer some solutions either or, as well as just pass it to you and see what you guys think too. But starting off, I want to go with what Marcus Smith said, the man who spearheaded the movement to the dirt for Bristol, and this was reported via Bob Pockrass.
Bristol Dirt, third year. Easter weekend is the second year for that, and all of it is a big risk, and it's a big challenge. And I think that number one, our team at Bristol has done a phenomenal job of executing on that challenge. I mean, to bring dirt in, to make a legitimate dirt track happen at Bristol Motor Speedway, with all sorts of challenges that presents, it is a pretty amazing thing. And to give fans a chance to see, what happens if we run cup cars on dirt at Bristol. What a cool thing. And so I want to say I really am proud of our whole team for what they've done with that. Looking into next year, I can tell you that we're starting to look at the calendar. We've not made any decisions on that yet, but we're certainly looking at the calendar. I think it's been a success when you consider the challenges that we've had, and we sold more tickets this year going into this weekend than we had last year. I'm really pleased with that. The weather, it looks like Saturday and Sunday is going to be really nice, so in spite of a little cooler temperatures, hopefully we'll see continuing improvement. I'd love it to be 75 and sunny, but we'll see.
So that is definitely not the kind of words that we would hear in the past. In the last 2 years, we've heard of the race being confirmed for another year. Now it's in question, and it's very much in question at that. So I'm just going to ask, should it stay? Starting off, let's go with the guys who would say yes. I sort of go into this category more than any of the others. While I think that there can be openings for different changes, whether it be to this race or going somewhere else, I do think so far the race has been a success by pretty much all measurable accounts aside from one, and we'll get to that. But for those who say yes, the first thing is the moments. 2021 had a bit of a cluster F, if you would say so, but it did have some great moments throughout. And one of those, in my opinion, was Daniel Suarez kind of having his coming out party with Trackhouse and being really competitive. While the race wasn't all that special and it had a bit of wreckfest mentality at different points of it, it still was a very interesting event and something that changed up the schedule in a big way. In 2022, after a long night, and I was there in person, it was a long night, they managed to have a really awesome finish. One that came down to Tyler Reddick and Chase Briscoe, with both taking each other out on the last lap and Kyle Busch making it past. One of probably the best wins in Kyle's career, one of the most exciting races of the 2022 season, and again, another year of memorability that could argue to bring the race back, whether it be argued by the TV or fans. Speaking of TV, the TV numbers for this race have been pretty good. In 2021, it was rain delayed, and on a Monday, it still got 3.1 million viewers and a 1.8 rating. While not awesome, that is definitely better than, honestly, Fox is probably going to do the rest of this season. And the next year, the ratings for both races spoke volumes about how many were watching at home. The truck race had almost 1.2 million viewers. To put in perspective, this year the average truck race is around 800,000, give or take, and some have been as low as 600,000. And for the Cup race, a 2.19 rating and over 4 million viewers for a rain-delayed Easter night race. So, if this race were to go off without a hitch, it could be argued that it'd be one of the most watched races of the year, like it was last season. And you can't argue with good numbers. They're there, they are unbiased in how they're presented. That's just how they are. So people are tuning in to watch it, and if it's on Easter Sunday, there's going to be a lot more people at home able to watch, and it's been shown by other sports, for instance, the NBA with Christmas or the NFL with Thanksgiving, that holidays can work with traditions if the sport elects to stick to it. That's going to be the question with this one. Attendance-wise, while there are no official numbers, the eye test shows that there were more people. Even in 2021, with some COVID restrictions in place still, the rain-delayed Monday race probably had more viewers at the track than the last 2 or 3 day races in the spring at Bristol, who had to close off half the track or more in seating because they couldn't sell the tickets. And last year, having been there, my section was almost completely full going towards turn 1. And while it wasn't necessarily at the level of the Bristol night race, there still were probably easily 50,000 or so fans there, and it had been the most packed I'd seen that track, well, since the 2019 Bristol night race, at least attending. While it, again, wasn't going to match what the night race was the year before or in 2022, it still had pretty good numbers for NASCAR standards. So people both showed up at home and at the track, speaking to a big amount of why NASCAR is probably electing to do this more. And also, the last one is dirt racing. Yes, I know there are official series that do dirt racing, and NASCAR fans, a lot of them don't want to do dirt racing because they see the sport as being over it, but it's not. It's part of the history. It's a different form of racing, and it's a form of racing that these cars are able to do. And it's completely unique. In a schedule that used to be just a bunch of boring cookie cutter tracks, having a dirt track now on top of a ton of different types of tracks shows the diversity and maneuverability of these drivers over time in these cars. But as with any argument, there are multiple sides, and there is the no side. And for those saying no, there's really 2 reasons, but they're 2 very big, and at least for one of them, very good reasons. I don't know about one or the other, but the first one here in rain, I think is honestly a good reason to talk about moving this event in any way. Rain has plagued this race both years it's been ran. The first year was rained out and damn near flooded through the entire facility, and the second year, having been there, I can tell you, was miserable having to stop and go because of rain all night long. And it's not probably fun for those at home having to either wait an entire day to watch a race, miss it because of work or school, or just go stop and go the entire night. It always is going to affect the dirt and make it muddy, and it's going to be even tougher to get the track ready to go again compared to if it were on concrete or asphalt or any other paved surface. And that is going to be something that has to be looked at moving forward. As of today, of recording this on a Friday before the race, rain has canceled all events. Before the race weekend had started, Saturday was forecast to be bad, so basically you just have Sunday to run everything. And that can't be the option every single year. The reason this is an option every single year at this point is because the races run on Easter, and this is another reason that many are arguing against it. There are 2 ways to look at this as well. Many fans are very traditionalist. They don't want to be celebrating their religious holiday by watching sports. Though I will say, for those who are saying that they have to choose between NASCAR and their kids, are your priorities really that right? But at that rate, people are still having to choose between family and sport. Easter always moves around on the calendar. Next year, it's going to be in March. This year, it's in April. Other years, it's in April. Sometimes it's in very early March or late April. So there is never a consistent date for this. Never a consistent date for fans to show up in person. Never a consistent date on the schedule to get a gauge of when it's going to be run. Yeah, you can look forward to it, but then you have to move other races around. It would be a pretty big headache, whereas you could probably have the general area of a race being run, say if it's in late April, run Talladega on Easter. A holiday race at probably the most action-packed track might be a good thing. And you can move Bristol around to a place where it's not going to get rained out every year. That could be an option too. So since we are talking about options, what are the solutions? Well, if you do keep it, or you have a spring Bristol race on the pavement in general, then I think it needs to be at a different time of year. According to different weather analytics or archives and data I've found, February through April are the rainiest months of the year for Bristol. So you're kind of running into the issue here. Or you could have snow like 2006. But looking at it, the threat is significantly down for rain in late May through to early June. It's a very hot time of the year still as it's starting to heat up, but you don't have the threat of precipitation that would cancel a race completely or delay it at the very least. So you could see what happened in 2020 when they raced in late May going into June, and they had an absolute banger of a race. That could happen again. You could get people out there, though it would be pretty close to the Bristol night race, but it's an option. Or my other option is you stick it out for now, and then you get the Nashville Fairgrounds set up once that whole deal is done. The fairgrounds would be really good to bring into the sport, even if a Bristol race has to be taken away, because it is still in the Tennessee market. It's in a big, giant Nashville market, so NASCAR would like that. It's a historical track that many race fans across the country would flock to, and it's good short track racing. I think that would be the only viable way if you were to get rid of a spring Bristol race that fans wouldn't be in complete uproar for. But at this rate, I personally think we should keep it until a better option presents itself, or move the Easter race to whenever Easter is and put this race at a time, even if it's on dirt still or if it's on pavement, to a time of year that it's not going to rain. But that's just my thoughts. Now I want to hear yours. So let me know what you think the future of the Bristol spring race, the dirt race, any kind of race you want with it should be. Let me know down in the comments below, and while you're at it, leave a like on this video, share this video, and subscribe to the channel for more great NASCAR content. Thank you to all my channel members for your continued support, and be sure to tune in all weekend. I'll be giving post-race coverage as long as the race runs on time for trucks, and definitely whenever the race is for Cup. So until then, have a good one.